Now, I apologize in advance, but not really, so I don't apologize. I know we're moving around a lot this morning, but to fully understand that text and what it means, we need to do a little bit of legwork in the Old Testament. We need to do some digging, find out what's going on. So if you would, travel with me to Leviticus 16. Because in order to understand this verse, we have to fully understand the Day of Atonement. We spoke about the fall and God's promise of salvation that He initiated in Abram. Well, for the people prior to Christ, God has sacrificially set up to make appeasement for their sins. We have a summary statement of this day in which the appeasement of sins occurred through the high priest. In Leviticus 16, verse 20 through 22. No, I apologize. Verse 32. And the priest who was anointed and consecrated as priest in his father's place shall make atonement, wearing the holy linen garments. He shall make atonement for the holy sanctuary, and he shall make atonement for the tent of meeting and for the altar. And he shall make atonement for the priests and for all the people in the assembly. And this shall be the statute forever for you, that atonement may be made for the people of Israel once in a year because of all their sins. Don't get lost there. That's confusing. What he's saying is that once a year, the high priest would go to the tabernacle and he would take a special bath. Right? And he would use special soap to cleanse himself as a human being. And then he would go and he would make sacrifices for himself to cleanse himself spiritually. But then he would make more sacrifices in each room in the tabernacle to cleanse each room as he was going into the Holy of Holies to offer a sacrifice for the entire people of Israel. That was all the build-up to the Day of Atonement. And then we find out in verse 20 what actually happens on the Day of Atonement. So after all the bathing and the special soaps to clean physically, and the sacrifices to clean spiritually, and the sacrifices to cleanse the rooms, we see what happens on the Day of Atonement. In verse 20, it said, when he has made an end of atoning for the holy place and the tent of meeting and the altar, he shall present the live goat. And Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat and confess over it all the iniquities of the people of Israel and all their transgressions and their sins. And he shall put them on the head of the goat and send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a man who is in readiness. The goat shall bear all the iniquities on itself to a remote area, and he shall let the goat free in the wilderness. This is the purpose of the Day of Atonement. All the cleansing, all the sacrifices, all the washing is leading to the point where Aaron, the high priest, can take a goat and he can come before God, placing his hands on the head of the goat, and all of the sins of Israel are transferred to the goat. Every sin that's committed in that year's span is transferred spiritually to the goat. The people of Israel no longer hold responsibility for that sin. If I can use a more robust term, the sins of the people of Israel are imputed to that goat. Don't get lost on that word. What I mean by that, the word impute means to transfer responsibility of something. So when Aaron lays his hands on the head of the goat and prays to God, God transfers responsibility from the people of Israel to the goat. And it's not only that they no longer hold responsibility for the sin, then he leads the goat out into the wilderness, out into the dry lands, out to where no one goes, out to where only death is.